Hi everyone, in this video we will see how to calculate probabilities for Poisson distribution using TI84. So to calculate the probability, the function is under distributions. So second vars is what you will need, and if you scroll down you will see the option for Poisson. It's right under binomial. It's option C and D. Alternatively, you could even scroll up and come from bottom and scroll up to C and D options. There are two functions for it, poissontpdf and poissontcdf. We will take a look at both of them with an example. But before we do that, let's take a quick recap on what is Poisson distribution. So Poisson distribution is a discrete probability distribution of number of events in a given space of time. We do have the average of the events known, the average number of events, which is symbolized by lambda. These events are independent. As a notation for x random variable, it has a Poisson distribution with lambda given. And x could take on values 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on, since it is a discrete distribution. The idea is to predict or analyze the number of events that we are interested in. So, for example, you could have number of ER patients visiting at a given certain time frames, let's say an hour, number of incorrect spellings in a given book. So the first one is for a given time. The second example for a given space. We are calculating the number of events. Another one could be number of books sold by a bookstore in a given day, and so on. So we'll take a look at a specific example to follow on the calculator. So let's say we have a text message users receiving or sending an average. So average is given at 41.5 text messages per day. We need to find out how many text messages does a text message user receive or send per hour. So to calculate the average per hour versus per day, that's just an algebraic problem. If it's 41.5 per day, in 24 hours, if we divide 41.5 by 24, we get 1.729, which will be our average for a given hour. The second part of the question asks, what is the probability that a text message user receives or sends 2 messages per hour? So this is a Poisson probability problem. We need to find out what's the probability that you will get or send 2 messages in a given hour, so in a given time frame. To calculate that, let's go to our TI84, and we are already on this screen. So we need, the question said per sender received 2 messages, exactly 2 messages. So for that reason, we are picking option C. So let's scroll up, hit enter, and it's pretty simple input for this calculation here. All you need is the lambda, which was 1.729. Let me just make sure. Yep. And the x value that we need it for is 2 messages for the given time frame, with the average of the messages at 1.729. Calculate using paste, hit enter. So come down, highlight, paste, hit enter, and it'll bring you to the main screen. Paste the problem to the main screen, hit enter again, and it will give you the result, the answer. So the answer is 0.2653 to 4 decimal places. So number of messages being 2, the probability is 26.53%, or 0.2653. Our next problem wants to know what is the probability that a text message user receives or sends more than 2 messages per hour. Okay, so this time we have not the exact value, we have some kind of a direction going on, more than or less than. So for us to know what is the probability that the messages will be more than 2. So there could be 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. We need the probability for that. Now with TI84, it calculates directional probabilities to the left only. So for that reason, when we go and calculate the directional probability, so let's go back to distribution. This time I'm going to go from the top and scroll up to option D, since this time we have direction. So poissontcdf as in cumulative distribution function. Hit enter, and the screen is exactly the same, except we are not in the PDF mode, we are in the CDF mode. Lambda is the same as the same problem, same average. Even the x value is the same, more than 2. So we will hit 2, come down, highlight, paste, hit enter, and you get 0.795. So remember we said it calculates probabilities to the left only. So left as in the left direction. So this is not greater than 2. This is less than or equal to 2. So this is the probability of getting text messages less than or equal to 2. So how do we find out what it is for greater than 2? Okay, so the probability of less than or equal to 2, so as in 0, 1, or 2 events in a given hour is the number that we got from the calculator, which was again 0.7495. To calculate greater than 2, you would subtract it from the 1, or the 100% probability. So 1 minus what we calculated, so 1 minus 0.7495, which is 0.2505. So the probability of getting more than 2 text messages for a given hour is 25.05%. And that's how you calculate probabilities under Poisson distribution using TI84.